have several data types in our previous class: integer, boolean, float, and there's another one called character. And so for string, remember, before you assign a value, you need your data type in Java. So you indicate your data type followed by a variable name. So our variable name is Java class. And then there is one thing you need to understand about strings. What differentiates strings from other data type is the quotation, and a single quote is for characters, double quote is for string. So we're going to use maybe beginning. So again, you need to know that strings are for um words or sentences, or you can actually use numbers. But when I mean numbers, it's more like you're saying it's a word, but you can convert it to a number like integer. So we say beginning, and then don't forget to put your semicolon. If not, it's going to throw an error in Java. So another thing you need to know is that what also differentiates strings from other data type is the fact that strings are objects, and in objects you use the word new to assign to it, which is something we're going to discuss about in our next class. So we're just going to learn the basics of our string data type. So we're going to give another value called start, and then the value called learning, and then don't forget to put your semicolon at the end. So now if you want to add two values, this is what we call concatenation in programming. That's adding two values together. So now there are two ways you can actually add strings together. You could say string m is equal to java class plus start, and then like I said in the previous class, you could just say south to print out your value. So we print out m, and then we run it, the code. You can see it's beginning learning. Concatenation means adding two values together. So the reason why this is together, meshed together without spacing, could just put a column here and then put plus here. So we could separate this. So beginning learning. So there, see another way you could actually concatenate instead of using the plus sign. So we say n is equal to java class dot concatenate. So we say concatenate start, and don't forget to put your semicolon, and then we'll print n. Okay, so let's just leave this as m. So we'll just create another print statement, and if you run this, you can see we can concatenate with this two process. So there's something else you need to understand. You could actually convert your strings to other data types. You could convert strings to integer. You could convert strings to characters. Characters are more like single letters, right? So for example, we want to print the word and the alphabet G. So there's what we called there's what there's what um there is a way we number values in Java, right? So the first value is usually 0, and the second is 1. So the first value usually starts with 0. So now if you want to get this G, so we're going to start with 0, 1, 2. So let's say, but remember, like I stated, characters are single words, single alphabet, sorry. So for example, A is a character, 1 is a character. But what differentiates characters from strings is the fact that it uses a single quote. So for example, you say A, this is a character. 1, this is a character. So now we can convert strings to characters, can convert strings to other data types, right? So now we want to convert to character. So we want to get this character, this particular alphabet G. So what we do is we call the word character, and then we can say G. Okay, let's say get G, and so before we convert this, um, we have to we can do it in two ways. We can actually say char at the position, index position. So the index position of G now is 0, 1, 2. The index position of G is 2. So we could actually convert these strings now to arrays. So arrays are more like a list of um items, right? So this is the indication for an array. So if we're converting this to character, that means we're converting individually to characters, right? This is a word beginning, and then we want to convert it individually to characters, meaning that it's actually a list of characters. That's what we're having our array. So we could actually say char array, and then remember what I stated, you need your data type first, and then you need your variable name. So to convert our strings to array to characters, you say string. So you get your string value. So what do we want to convert? We'll need this our Java class, convert it to array. So it's going to be Java class dot to array. Now the second thing we need to do, we need to get the index position of this particular array. So we start with B, 0, 1, 2. So it's going to be, let's print out, it's going to be get. So the position of the array, like I stated, is 2. So when we print this out, we've gotten our G at the bottom. Let me just highlight all this so it won't get confusing to us. Sorry. Let me highlight this. Okay, so we've learned two things: how to add strings, how to convert strings to character, right? And then we could actually still convert strings to integers and other variable types, other data types. So the next thing you need to understand, we could actually still convert um this value strings to either small letters or um big letters. You get that's capital letters and small letters. So let's say this learning now is all the alphabets are all in capital letters. Now if we want to convert this, could just say print start dot to, want to convert it to small letter, sorry, start dot to lowercase, and then if you print out, so you can see that the learning has all changed to lower to smaller alphabet. So now let's say if we want to convert this beginning value to capital letter, that's big letters, it's going to be start sorry, java class dot to uppercase, and then you print out. Then there's other things too we could actually use in strings, which are called regular expressions. And the short the abbreviation is just regs. So regular expressions are more like um our regular, more like you matching your strings to regular um alphabets, regular numbers, or regular unique um characters. For example, now we want to um so we'll just highlight this first. So for example, now we want to check if our regular expressions, right? We want to check if this is string, right? That we want to check if this particular word matches what we have. So let's say you could actually use this in a situation whereby you want to use your password. For example, you want a situation whereby only numbers can be added to a password, and only certain alphabets can be added, or some certain unique numbers can be added to your password. So what you can use is matches. So let's say um, string q is equal to, so let's say string q um sorry let's say we use our if statement. um so let's say this our starts, so if statement, right, is something we're going to talk about in our next class. So since you're a beginner in terms of Java, you don't really need to know much about the if else statement. It's something we're going to really explain about, but today we're just concentrating on Java strings, right? So just want to know, I want you to know the basic concepts of strings. So let's say if start dot So matches. Now if it matches um A to Z, sorry, let's say A to P, print it matches. Else it doesn't match. Now if you look at this, we're saying start, and if you check start here, so let's just clean all this so we won't get confused. So if you check start here has a capital letter L, and we're saying that if start matches small letter A to P, I want this system computer to print its matches. But if it doesn't, I want it to print that it doesn't match. So we can actually use strings for regular expression to check if the string matches our regular expression. So if you check now, this L, capital letter L, does not match to from A to P. So when we say A to P, we mean from A, B, C, D to P. Now if you print this out, you see that it doesn't match. It doesn't match. But now if we change this now to capital letter A to capital letter B, let's see what's going to happen. It matches. That's because capital letter L is in between this A, capital letter A to P. But now let's say if we change this now to capital letter small letter A to Z to P, and then we say capital letter A to P, and then print, it matches. Now let's say if we change this now from capital letter P, we change it to small letter Z, and then we print. You notice that it doesn't match because if you check, we have small letter A to small letter P, and A to P, there's no Z in between A to P. But if we change this to Z, it matches, right? So there's also something we call in regular expression, which is it's if in a situation whereby it doesn't match um with this. So let's say um so when you're saying that, well, when this expression now is more like you saying start dot matches does not, this means does not, right? So in mathematics we usually call it raised to raised to, so I don't really know what you call it in your country or your locality. So we usually call it raised to. So if it doesn't match, then let's change this to it doesn't match z. Okay, we can actually take this out. So let's say if it doesn't match x, so this word means it doesn't, then I want my system to print it doesn't match s. So if we change this, we already know that a to z, small letter a to z, certainly matches this. So it's not going to print out anything when we try to print. You see that nothing is printed out. But now let's change this now to d and then print. You notice that it doesn't match z. So this means it doesn't match. So there are so many things with respect to strings, but we're going to stop here today with respect to learning about strings. But what you need to understand is your strings must always have a quotation in Java, and your strings must always end with a semicolon. And also you can use your strings to convert to other data types, and you can use your strings for situations whereby you want to check if your string matches other expressions. So that's all for today. Thank you. So in our next class we're going to look more at integers, to learn how to convert integers to other data types and how to use our integers. Again, don't forget that your strings are objects, but when we talk about objects we'll explain why strings are objects. So thank you, take care.